every year. It's great. Mom and my sister and I and Mike love it. Super tasty. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut up your broccoli, your cauliflower, and your celery in a bowl. I already have those pre-done. Then you're gonna add your green olives. Now you can do it whole or sliced. We prefer sliced. To take just regular Italian dressing, nothing fancy. Just your regular bottled Italian dressing. Now I do this first before I add my avocado and sunflower seeds, and just squirt it over just until the whole thing is moist. So just get it nice and moist. You're going to sprinkle on your sunflower seeds and get that stirred. And then you're going to cut up an avocado and put it on top right before serving. You want to do it immediately before serving because, of course, avocado does turn. So you have a wonderful green salad and you get your vegetables all at the same time, and it is super tasty. The best roast turkey you will ever eat. It's only 2 ingredients. It's super simple and takes less than 3 minutes to make. Let's get started. All right, to defrost your turkey, you need to defrost it 24 hours for every 4 pounds. If you do not have room in your refrigerator and you live in a cool climate, stick it in your cooler in your garage or outside. Of course, if you have bears, don't do that. You don't have to necessarily just keep it in your refrigerator. If you live in a cool climate, you can defrost it in the garage and it'll be just fine. Make sure the temperature outside is 40 degrees or below. Then the next step that we do is we use foil pans, or line your roasting pan with a foil. I got this one at the thrift store. I got 10 for $1, so that's a great deal. You want to make sure your pan is big enough to catch all the juices because this is a very juicy turkey. All right, so I have taken my turkey out of the package and drained it in the sink. Be sure to bleach your sink and everything around it when you're done. Removed the giblets and the neck from the cavity of the turkey. Take 1 stick of butter. Right here, this is all you need, 1 stick of butter. Stick it in there. Now, you'll be able to tell the breast because it makes a heart and the wings are up. And you want to turn that down. Make sure your turkey is breast side down. The juices from the turkey are going to seep into that breast and make it the most succulent and juicy breast of turkey you have ever eaten. Then, just cover it with aluminum foil. And make sure you seal it tightly. Make sure all your edges are crimped really well. You're going to put this in the oven at 250 degrees for an hour. Yes, that is correct, 250 degrees. Don't send me an email. I'm going to explain in just a moment. Then you are going to turn it down to 200 degrees and cook it for 10 to 14 hours. If you are planning on eating Thanksgiving dinner around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, cook it the night before and then turn your oven down to warm and keep your turkey warm until dinner. Just cook it overnight. You'll wake up to delicious turkey. If you're planning on eating later that evening, put it in as soon as you wake up in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Get it in that oven and let it cook all day long until 5 or 6 at night. If you are going to be eating at 5 or 6 at night and it's like 8 or 9 o'clock and you forgot, throw it in the oven at 350 degrees for 1 hour, get that puppy cooking, and then turn it down to 200 degrees. Now, you're going to let this cook for 10 to 14 hours. You are slow cooking your turkey. Yes, this is perfectly safe. Yes, your turkey breast will be around 170 degrees. Do not waste time brining your turkey. Do not waste time with seasonings or any of that stuff. This is the turkey at its finest, and it will be the most delicious turkey you've ever seen. We're going to be right back and show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. After 12 hours, bring it out of the oven, remove your foil. You can see that it's thoroughly cooked and falling off the bone. That's how you know your turkey is done, is when the meat just falls off the bone. You don't need a thermometer, but if you're worried about the temperature, You can check, and your thigh should be 180 degrees, which mine is. Then you're going to start picking your turkey apart and just start removing large hunks of meat off the bones and put it on the plate. If you want, you can scoop some juice over the top of your meat and wrap it with aluminum foil until you're ready to serve. So with this turkey, you have moist, delicious turkey that your friends and family are going to just rave about. Now, today I am making the very best homemade pie crust you will ever eat. It's in Dining on a Dime cookbook on page 247. You can get the link in the description below. If you hate pie crust, you will love this one. It is the tastiest, most flaky pie crust you will ever eat. Let's get started. In a bowl, you have your flour, sugar, your salt. Mix your dry ingredients. Add your shortening. You can use butter flavored shortening if you prefer. Roll up your sleeves, get your hands in, and just quickly make cornmeal sized pieces out of the mixed shortening and butter. You can use a pastry blender if you would prefer. I use my hands, it goes quicker. Pour in your water, vinegar, mix until it comes together in a nice ball of dough. Now you can freeze this and defrost it later if you want, or you can roll it out immediately. Cut into thirds. Fill in any holes. And crimp your edges. And there you have a bottom pie crust. Done. Peel it off the bone. Save the bones for turkey stock later in the week. Just wrap it up in your fork.
Which thing is that?
It was the gravy.
Oops.
Okay, so.
This is not normal. It's the show that's jinxing us.
What's that?
Check the biscuits.
I did. Did I not get the biscuits out? Holy cow, what?
Is that the stuff that's on the bottom? Yeah, that's the stuff from the... Oh no!
Okay, open the windows.
Okay.
We actually have a fire.
So that's the stuff that boiled over from the...
Okay, hold on. The stove is on fire. Dave,
What?
you know, why don't you get this on YouTube since the stove is on fire?
There it
Okay.
is.
So let me think here. How should we deal
You're
with
just
this
cooking it more,
situation?
don't worry. Whoa. The beauty of live video, guys. Here, should I turn it off? Turn it off, yeah. Jamie says salt puts out fire.
Well, happy Thanksgiving.
Join us next time for another great edition of
Fire alarms.
Inspire Book.
I just don't even know what to say.
How do we stop them?
Okay, we know the smoke detectors work. This is good. Okay, so let me see.
All right,
if there's-
dinner's done.
Today we are making homemade apple pie.
Yum.
So all you do is you put your apple in, and you just go like this. Is if you missed a little spot, just cut that off. Then you just slice your apples in half. You're gonna put in your brown sugar and your sugar.
Brown sugar?
And then, nope, it's all gone. Then some salt, because the world needs more salt, people. No more right now, it's for dinner. Okay, cinnamon, stop jumping. Quarter cup of nutmeg. Ah, teaspoon nutmeg. Got that. And then a little bit of flour for thickener right here. Okay. So as we get this all stirred up, and then we microwave it for about 2 minutes just to get the apples going, because sometimes when you cook apple pies, depending on how firm, now these ones were pretty soft, so they would probably be all right. But if you have firmer apples, then they will take longer to cook. And so this just keeps them from being hard in your pie, okay? So I'm gonna stick these in the microwave for just 2 minutes. Oh dear. Left some of it in there. Okay. Okay, now once again, it's in a quarter, like so. So look for the center of the pie, about. Pull your crust, and then just gently unfold your crust. Now, it is perfectly fine if it hangs over a lot on the edge, because I'll show you how we're going to fix this, okay? Now, once again, like I said, I go for rustic pies. Now, see how I missed this little section here? So this was too big, so I go in and I...
a number of people are asking, do you not use butter?
Oh!
Is that you put it inside or on top?
Okay, so if you remember your butter before you get your pie crust all done.
Do you just set the butter inside of it?
You can do this one of two ways. If your pie crust will still move, take your butter and squeeze it in underneath.
Brenda says more butter.
If your pie crust won't move, cut some little slits like so. See, guys, this is Tara, real life. So you guys know how to save your quote-unquote cooking disasters. They're not disasters. They're just happy accidents. Forget your butter and have to poke holes in it. Take and make your initial on the top. Sprinkle your sugar on top, like so.
Because we like Tara better than Martha.
Because, you know, this is how it actually turns out. Martha has food stylists. Tara does not have food stylists. Okay, so there you go. And we're going to stick it in the oven. Voila! This is the one with the crumb topping, okay? And the crumb topping is on page 318, right there. So if you don't want two toppings. All right, I used canned sweet potatoes for my sweet potato casserole. But if you want to use regular sweet potatoes, fresh sweet potatoes, all you have to do is throw them in the oven and roast them at 350 degrees for approximately 45 minutes. Peel them, chop them up, and put them in your dish, okay? Now, just to save on dishes, I put my sweet potatoes in, and then in a measuring cup, I add my sugar and my eggs. This recipe is in the description below. My vanilla and my butter. Then I just stir it all around. Then I just pour it all over my sweet potatoes. Now, you can do this a couple of different ways. You can, if you want the marshmallow top, Just bake this at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Okay, if you want a crumb topping, which is what my recipe calls for, then just add your butter. Make sure that it's melted. You want your butter, and then flour, brown sugar, stir all that, and then we'll add our pecans. And this is a candied pecan topping instead. Now, if you use your marshmallows, if you want the marshmallows, after you've baked your sweet potato casserole, then put the marshmallows on top and put it back in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes until your marshmallows are melted. Then you're going to put your topping on top of your sweet potatoes. Then we're going to bake at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. All right, the first thing you're going to do is peel your potatoes. Now, you can lay newspaper down and do this on newspaper and throw the whole thing in the compost. If you compost, use the trash, just use a trash bag and peel it in there. Then, when you're all done, you can just gather it up and throw it in the trash. Okay, now I rinse the potatoes off when they're big like this, because then I don't risk dropping any down the drain. So I'm going to get them rinsed off, and then we're going to cut them up. Now this is my mom's trick. When you're making mashed potatoes, don't cut them into little pieces like this. This is the traditional way. Don't do that. Just cut them into quarters, because you have the same amount around the potato. Now maybe this one I would do one more, but if you just quarter them, then you don't have to do so much cutting. So thanks, Mom, for that handy dandy tip there. All right, and now we're going to put these on the stove to boil. Now, what you can do is take and cut up your potatoes 2 to 3 hours ahead of time and just let them sit in the water. And my grandma did this all the time for Sunday dinner. Then just turn on the potatoes when you get home to start cooking, and you're getting your dinner together, and they're piping hot when they're done. All right, you let your potatoes boil about 15 minutes. But if you're at high altitude, you may need to boil them a little bit longer. Just boil them until a knife just goes straight in, real easy, and then you know your potatoes are done. All right. Now, mashed potatoes are super easy, but I have a secret ingredient that makes my mashed potatoes perfect. Drain your mashed potatoes, add a little bit of milk, a good amount of salt, and a nice plop of butter. Then, here's the secret ingredient. Add about a tablespoon of sugar. Don't leave the sugar out. It does not make your mashed potatoes sweet. Then you're going to mix until well blended. Now, if they're not quite creamy enough, add just a titch of milk and mix some more. Now, everybody freaks out when I say put the sugar in there. But guys, I guarantee you this secret ingredient will give you the best mashed potatoes you have ever eaten. All right, to make your homemade gravy, homemade turkey gravy, take your neck and your giblets, how do you say it? Giblets, and put them in the water. Then add a generous amount of salt. And you're just going to put this on low and just let it simmer for several hours until you get a nice broth. You're going to take the juice from your turkey and you're going to add it to that wonderful broth that you made with the turkey neck and the giblets. Then I add about 4 of these bouillon cubes in here just to give it a little extra flavor. We're going to bring it to a boil. You've got your broth from your neck and your giblets. Then I added some broth from my turkey. Now I have some water, and I'm putting in some cornstarch. And I'm going to stir it around. Get it nice and dissolved. I'm going to add just a bit more. I do about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Now the trick is to use cold water and let your cornstarch get dissolved first before you put it in your boiling broth, okay? As it comes to a boil, you're going to add your cornstarch water. Make sure it's all mixed. And you're going to bring it to a boil again. All right, as it comes to boil, it's going to start to thicken. Turn your heat down so it doesn't boil over. Then, if it doesn't thicken enough, just add a little bit more cornstarch water. And salt to add enough seasoning to make sure it's salted well enough. Okay, now if you want giblet gravy, just cut up your liver and gizzards and add an egg, a hard-boiled egg, your liver and gizzards. To make this pie super, super simple, first you're going to take a half a cup of butter. Put your butter in first, and then when you put your corn syrup to measure, it will have a little bit of grease in there and it will slide out like butter. Then your sugar and your eggs. And your salt. Vanilla, lemon juice, and pecans. The recipe is in the description below. Then you're going to pour into your pre-baked pie crust. And if you want prettiness, you can set your extra pecans on top, all over. And then we are going to put it in the oven and bake it at 425, and then turn the heat down to 325 after 10 minutes, and then bake it for 40 more minutes. And there you have your finished pecan pie. Easiest ways to use Thanksgiving leftovers is to make dinners, is to make your own TV dinners for later. I line a pan with foil. If I'm making smaller packets, I'll put 2 or 3 pieces of foil in there. If it's for the family, I'll line an 8x8 pan with 1 piece of foil and put my turkey in there. And then I'll put my turkey and my mashed potatoes, my green beans, my stuffing, and my gravy, and just pour it all over the top. Then fold up my foil packets, freeze it in the pan so it doesn't accidentally spill out. Then I take and put them in freezer bags. And when I need a quick, easy meal, all I do is take out my foil packet, and you can either put it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes until it's warm through, or you can put it in the crock pot on low and let it simmer. Just let it sit in the foil packet in the crock pot. And then when you come home from work, it's all nice and ready, and you didn't even have to do anything, but you have a wonderful turkey dinner for later.